We are back, my friends, and thank you guys for being so cool about everything that's been going on. Obviously family comes first, but thank you guys so much for being cool about that stuff. I know I had to move my vacation, but that just means that you get to see me live next week. How awesome is that? So we will be doing that technical analysis today. We'll give you some levels if you need some daily expected moves. Those are in your bottom right corner for the SPY, the SPX, and the QQQ. We see that as of right now for the data this morning that we were paying attention to for core inflation. Oh, we got a surprise. We see the core inflation rate month over month is coming in at 0.1. We see the core inflation rate year over year coming in at 2.8. And pretty much all the numbers are lower or break even or lower than expected, or I guess the inflation rate is over the previous, but still lower than expected. So this actually adds more and more credibility to September rate cuts. I actually am putting together a report about the housing market and what I think could happen over there with my opinion, with some data to back it up. If you would like to see that, Patreon members, hey, put that in the chat. I overall just made an analysis document for the housing market for friends and family. So if you guys would like to get that too, hey, just mention it. If you're part of Patreon, we can post it over there. Okay, Patreon members? For today, we do see some good things. Now, you have a market that continues to be resilient and not getting that kind of pop-up kind of moment yet. And how this could shape up is very, very interesting for the time being. But the overall shape that I think we need to be aware of, and remember how just a couple days ago, I don't know if you guys saw this, but remember how just a few days ago on Sunday, actually, I think it was during our private stream and during the live stream on Monday, we actually were discussing how you even have to pay attention. Actually, let's go to the Patreon post. Let's go to the Patreon post real quick. I really wanted to talk about this. I think this would be something interesting. Now, markets don't have to move because of these things, but I made sure to post a few days ago or yesterday some of the risk that I see in the market, and some of that would be dates to pay attention to. So I gave you a bunch of dates to pay attention to. CPI was one of them. June 13th was going to be another one as we get consumer sentiment. It's estimated to be good, but the unrest with Cali with opportunity to scale up does heighten risk for black swan moments this week. I would say even going into June 14th. So we're like, hey, it says that that's supposed to be good, but watch out for the weekend if things start to get a little bit hectic. I heard June 14th there's supposed to be some kind of deal or something. That could end up just being a pullback for the market if we end up squeezing higher, though. So we'll have to see. It just might mean being risk off for the weekend. Might be a good one. June 18th is a big one. We have the Fed interest rate decision. The Fed's not probable to cut rates this month. They have a 99.9% probability to hold rates the same this month. The rate, it really starts to increase when we get to September, and I bet those will adjust with the updated data that we do get. But this is the date for VIX-piration. Then I believe we have a day off, and then we go right into the monthly, quarterly, weekly, daily OPEX. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of witches there or something. I don't know. This is at the end of the quarter. We can see some kind of rebalancing moment. And this is where we get back to our charts over here, and you're sick of hearing me talk, and you go, okay, we're heading up and up and up. Maybe we continue to head up into something like that Wednesday, and then we actually experience some kind of pullback to actually go higher, right? To actually maybe even exceed these type of levels and see some crazy stuff. And then we end up going higher and higher and higher. But the thing about this is I think we need more of a vomit kind of moment. I think you want to see a shakeout, maybe not in the middle of July, but instead we actually remain going up in this type of fashion, maybe into this type of area. Then we pull down into August, right? Maybe we see something bad, and then you actually head up into, like, say, 2026. So this is just something I'm playing with right now. I'm still playing with those ideas, but that is kind of the direction I'm paying attention to. I really think that they would want a moment of it, almost extreme volatility to kick in. So we've gone up and up and up for so long. Yeah, you want to treat it like it can hold up here, it can hold up here, but I'm still going to be aware of this more drawn out one, because that brings you more into that August timeframe, where in August we're not really supposed to get, I believe, an update on the rates, but we will, or at least we will in September. So we could start to get signaling for that, and people could start to price that in early. I think that would be interesting. And that is part of my analysis for the housing market that I actually did put together last night. So kind of touch it up and finish it up today. All right, you guys want to look at through a few of these stocks here. Missed you too, YS. I missed you guys. Wahid, how you doing? Tesla. We'll go look at Tesla in a moment. We'll kind of click through a lot of these. We can mainly look at these from daily charts and just say like which ones are going to be, hard to say you want to hold on to right now. There's always trades on shorter time frames, but if we click through these type of charts, you can see Apple. It's like, okay, Apple is at a lower level. It has the opportunity to get rotated into. We see that Apple maybe we get that China news. Overall, I believe that was stated last night that we could get some China news today. At the same time, Tesla down at lower levels, went directly to the monthly expected move, directly to where price action wants to get to, and boom. Very, very nice for Tesla to get there. It is stuck between two zones, so we'll see what happens. But we did say right here, we said look for the higher low. Higher low came. Look for the divergence or higher low came right off of that point, and you see we head up to what? 325.50. So very, very nice call there. For the time being, you would say a 30-minute could pull back at any moment. You would really just say a 30-minute most likely will pull back at this time. You haven't seen any kind of pullback yet, but I think it would maybe even come down to take care of this gap if we had to pay attention to it. It's very good to flash your head up here. If those buyers can hold you up better, if you can keep 325, it would be a good thing. But what you're looking for here on your MACD is either just keep ripping, right? Tesla does crazy things, but if it gives you the opportunity, a 30-minute pullback should not tip everything over, and then you can turn up into positive territory somewhere over here. That would be very, very nice. As we are heading up, we are heading into weekly expected moves and things like that. Amazon is almost to where pretty much my target is, 220. Amazon, very, very nice move, going up to potentially 220 very soon. I did go ahead and click through and check some of these, and a lot of these are getting up towards their monthly expected move. So just remember that they are doing that, and you need to see potential reversal signals there to get a hint of a lower high or with a divergence, okay? So this is very good stuff. You see that there's no divergence here on the daily. So this could just be another pullback, right? We could just see another pullback, or it could be a little bit more drastic to kind of do something like this, right? We'll see if that's able to take place. If it's going to be a little bit deeper, if we want to just continue a good trend move, well, then don't ever lose this low, right? See this scale up pretty good here. Then you come back down into this area and use that as support to head higher. Very, very nice for Amazon, but that one's going to be hard to execute on for the upside play. I believe that Nvidia will be hard to execute on the upside play, and that's because the 2-hour is still showing some drastic things. The 2-hour is showing some drastic divergences. They continue to go to the upside. We're going to watch. We're going to see if that just breaks through and we just see mega squeeze happen, right? We can watch for that, but executing a play on that would just be like, well, where am I going to get to? Maybe like 152. 152 to 155, and then once you get to somewhere like there, your daily chart's really going to want a pullback at that point, but you can continue to be irrational up into OPEX or even a little bit after that. So we'll have to see if you see your 2-hour chart can scale up all of a sudden to that 152, then you could like pull back, see it kind of move like this, just boom, 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 and then we actually tumble. So you are looking for the confirmation of these signals at any moment. Going negative would be a big deal, and losing this low right here towards 138.50 would be a big deal for Nvidia. We do see that AMD, I actually really like this look as well. It might not have to revisit this level again if it can get something good going on here. You are in the window where squeezes are potentially going to happen. So if you're able to flash above all of this, you don't have to return to this zone if you can see a solid move and then come back down into this type of area again to actually curl up into positive territory. So you see how we can get that run up into the end of June. And after this week, it will be heightened, right? It will be like, hey, did we see some kind of squeeze going into Friday or on Monday? Do we see upside? We need to see that breakthrough because this weakness in momentum is just lingering and lingering, but it hasn't turned things down yet. So that's a very, very good thing. AMD looks really nice though. Bam. Actually, yeah, I think the more probable thing is you just kind of do this. And then you try to get all the way to like 169. Yeah, I think the next thing you're paying attention to is all of this in here. You're already breaking through a lot of it. It's probably like this. This is where I think you're going. I think you'll get there eventually. That's if we don't see extreme weakness over the let me mark this off too. Yeah, do that, that, and that. Yeah, I think that's the kind of look you're looking for here for AMD. You got to see that squeezing though, because if you tip now, you could break all this, right? So you want to see squeezing like soon. So looks like that for AMD. For Meta, this would mean what? We gave you this line for Meta. Meta is screaming, screaming, screaming to the upside. This is one that's already done what I'm talking about for AMD. Okay, so you don't have to revisit this zone. I think we have a chance to do so. I do think we have a chance, a window here where we could like pull back, go up one more time, right? We could do this in July, set that up for like July 15th, and then no rate cut, right? Show that pathway higher, go boom into this, and then we go no rate cut. Everyone gets pissed off, and then you just turn up into positive territory at some point. That could happen. We'll have to see. As of right now, this is your risk off level for Meta. It's a decision making area right here. So you can choose to leave runners if you think this is a crazy time. Hedging in this area is good, right? Or just taking profit, right? If you're in at these levels, bam, and you're riding that upside, well, this is the potential decision-making opportunity. I will check for another level for you for Meta if you would like. If you're holding on to those runners, then the next location you are looking at is about 720. 720, about 13, 12 points higher, and you are starting to go into the ultimately terrible risk to reward for the bull trade. Just be aware of that for Meta. Microsoft, I believe you're in a similar scenario. Actually, you're not really in a similar scenario for Microsoft, but that thing needs to pull back, man. That thing's squeezing, right? You want to see a daily squeeze? That's it right there, right? Bam, bam. You're starting to see divergences pop up on the daily time frame. You're starting to see them curl down on the 4-hour. So this is where we could see some rotations and things like that. We'll have to find out. But when's the next opportunity for something like Microsoft? Well, if it pops up, even if it's up here, it's still down here. It's like this or like this, even if we squeeze. It's like this or like this. This is going to be very hard to be like, yeah, I'm confident, taking a 2-month play, a 2-week play on. It's going to be very difficult to make that decision in my mind. What do we see here from Google? We are slowly making our way up to the target that I would like to see. The target that I would like to see is right in the middle of this guy towards 185. I think it's a fantastic level. You have a ton going on there. If you could even peek your head above that, I would be happy, right? If you're going to say squeeze and then you come up to these levels, well, we can pull this thing back and still figure our stuff out to go higher. Or you can come into this area, tap off of it, and then end up throwing up down to this area again, where you can find support later on for Google. So just be aware of that. AMC and GME, these things are trying to hold up, but still breaking down for the most part. We're still looking for potential tests for $3. We have gotten the daily to cross down, so you're in daily pullback mode. This means that the next time that we get a daily confirmation above this bar, the swing trade could be on. It's as simple as that. The 2-hour chart right now still has not curled up. It is trying to make a higher low, which could be your hint. So if you want to be a little riskier, well, the 2-hour curling up and giving you confirmation on MACD and RSI would be a good sign. GME, gap down with the earnings. Even though I believe that one part of this was really, really good, the other part is like, oh, revenue, okay, a little bit bad there. But changing things around, I don't think that's like horrible by any means. I didn't look fully into the data. I was busy with family, taking care of wifey. But I would say overall, this is probably one of those earnings fake outs. I think you really need to test this level, like right up in here. So I think you're going to get some kind of reaction up to here. And then it depends. Do you start to pop off or do you reject heavily from that on the daily time frame? I think that's the case. And it's more this level here for the daily time frame. Actually, let's just mark it off. This is a fair value one. So this is a fair value one on the daily time frame. Oh, it adds up right to the weekly expected move. We give you the weekly expected move. Let me make sure that's correct. It's actually 33, just so you have it. This has been updated to 33.73. Okay, so just above that zone. You break above that zone, it's actually a good sign, right? If you can see this go up past this, then it can come back down in this zone and use it as support to go higher. So we'll see if that's able to take place. DJ Tizzle, really like the 2-hour divergence, just not seeing that positivity. Always the availability to do what? Just continue to like fail, right? Do some of this, fail. Do some of this, fail. So what we want to see here is looking at your MACD. Hey, is that curled down or curled up? Well, it's curled down. If it curls up and you see that strength come in, it could say, hey, momentum's about to shift into positive territory. We're going to try to take out this high. What does that mean? It's going to try to go into a positive trend. Best case scenario for DJT is gain that support right where we like it and then burst to the upside, maybe see a small pullback and then head it up again. All right. SoFi continues to climb, squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. And this is starting to squeeze to the upside now. Very, very nice for SoFi as we made the higher low to continue to the upside. And where do we think SoFi is heading? I think it's heading directly to this area. If it breaks that upside, we can see something a little crazier or at least raise this floor. Wonder if anyone's measured moving this thing. Do close to close. I'm just going to put it on the top of here. Yeah, so you can go test is that all time? No, you can go test this previous high. Just watch out for 1572, right? Watch out for it and watch your weekly, monthly expected moves, but squeeze time. So remember, squeezes will take you outside of monthly expected moves. Palantir has already seen squeezing, like a pretty significant amount. Palantir is setting up another point of 2-hour divergence. So if the 2-hour starts to roll here, just watch out. You are kind of in that time where you're kind of like opening up pathways lower, but then rejecting and going higher. So this is still theoretically bullish. If you look at your 30-minute chart, this could be squeezing, but you could be seeing that 30-minute divergence that likes to do what? Give you a 2-hour pullback. So 2 hours suggests, hey, if that pulls back, though, I could go negative. So watch out here if that starts to break this low. That's kind of a mean drop there. So bulls, I wouldn't be messing around too much with these signals. If you've been in it for a while, if you have extended options, you know, make your own decision and things like that. If you're part of Patreon, you have weekly and monthly expected moves, make your own decisions. But my goodness, that looks like it's already squeezed. And you have the gold that looks like it might want to pop off on the 2-hour here. Like we could top right now too, by the way, with these signals. You still can top. Shit, maybe I shouldn't have said that. No, we got rid of it. Unless that 2-hour completely flops like right now. No, even if that flops right now. What I'm still watching is the 4-hour chart as well, just looking how significant this could be if we turn it down. This could be daily pullback right now. Actually, daily pullback right now would lean you towards something a little uglier, remember? Daily pullback now leads you into what? Something ugly. I would rather see like pullback now, go up higher, pullback later. That would be better, but we'll see. All right, guys, so we got through a bunch of little charts there. Might have missed a few, but for the time being, what has changed since Monday? Really nothing. You're continuing to melt up. You're continuing to do what? Remember when we drew this last week? You can remember when we said you can just do this. All right, we ended up being right. I didn't want to see that, but we ended up being right. That's lame, isn't it? Let's see, Snow. You want to check out Snow real quick, Justin? Let's go check it out. For the time being, you're looking for a 2-hour, right? 2-hour divergence, okay? You're seeing if that can go negative. Starting to see that start to roll, right? This is good to see. As far as like, hey, can I get a little bearish here? I would say, you know, potentially. You always want to be looking for, can that 2-hour curl up? But what's very obvious here, these levels, okay? If you start to break these levels, you can see how we can make that right shoulder that could have been. So if we see something dramatic, you're going to see this line kind of stagger off and kind of do this. And you're probably going to see a moment where you like try to test that and then you fail again. So you'll probably see this like come over and down like this, and then you'll go up and be like, yeah, we're doing it. And then you'll just cross back down into negative territory. So you're looking for the daily chart here to give you some confirmation that it wants to pull back. And then you should have potentially 2 opportunities here. And the way that I see those opportunities are just make sure you understand that how the trade goes wrong. Okay, make sure that you're looking for like a 30-minute higher low or some kind of reversal signal. The 2-hour chart, though, right now is suggesting, hey, this could be phase 1. And then if we're able to break this low, then it starts to add up to, okay, take profit, look for some kind of bounce, and then see if we can curl down one more time. And that's where you can dip down a little bit further, in my opinion. Yeah. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that makes sense. Daily time frame has curled over, right? Yeah, actually yesterday you had the confirmation. So it looks like right now your momentum is telling you for snow that you are going to pull back. So where would the daily want to pull back to? Well, it might want to pull back into these areas, right? You can mark this guy off. If you like gaps, you can use the gap in here. Most likely you will see some kind of bounce around this type of level. So that means most likely we're going down to 179 or something like 179 to 192, I'll say. That would be the most likely scenario. You notice that the market has not been playing out most likely scenarios this week, like at all, right? So if the 2-hour curls up, if I see a reversal signal from the 30-minute for the 2-hour to curl up right now, then I'm going to react. Do I see that as of right now? No. But if I see this go up and then curl down, then I would say, what? We took out that high. Watch out for the higher low. I'm out of the trade to the downside. The easier trade to execute here is let this do what it wants to do, considering the environment we're in. Miss out on this. Watch for the bounce, and then watch that bounce closely if you start to roll. This trade over here would be much easier to execute, in my opinion. Because you're in potential squeeze times. As far as volatility goes, it is still mostly holding on to the signals like on 4 hours. Dailies trying to still hold that divergence point. So you have the opportunity for major weakness here in the market. But if we get new, this is where you're at that point. You're at that point of like, we see major weakness, but but you can squeeze with that. If you just see something curl up, it's going to be irrational. You're not going to be, you're going to be like, what the hell? Signals look terrible, but the price action continues to remain strong. You need things to break down and continue to break down and stop curling up. They keep curling up because we keep doing this and this and this and this, which means most likely, what are we seeing? Let's pull these up for a second here. Look how tight this is. Right? What are we about to see? Well, when it gets tight, what happens? We start to go wham, 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 right? So you are probably about to see these Bollinger Bands, that is, start to spread out. All right? They're going to start to spread out in some way, just like over here. Damn, that's really, really rough there. So a big move is coming. I would potentially say that big move will come in the next 24 hours. Let's hold hands and figure it out together. Are you calling puts? No, I can't say that at this point. I think there's ones that make sense to like look for the signals to scale into. Like say something like Meta. Like if we got a 2-hour pull back and then a 2-hour bounced again, I think it has an argument for it. I think this has an argument for a 2-hour pullback, but am I confident that we're not going to squeeze? No. It just might mean I'm just going to watch it go down. I'm not really going to do anything. Like I said, what's the easier opportunity to be successful on? I think a daily pullback is much easier, right? Whether we do it now and we go like this, like this, right? Whether we do it later, right? Maybe it just goes into July, and in July they announce, hey, in September we're looking at a rate cut. Okay, well then, okay, go down into like July, mid-July, turn back up. If we're going to extend the move, which is definitely possible, which is why I don't necessarily want to short, then I'm looking for like Wednesday, June 18th. But I'll potentially be looking for reversal signals, so we might extend past June 18th, which just means look for it to extend, do its job, do what it needs to do to tell you it wants to go higher, get above here, get above 613 pretty much, and then see what happens. Because what happens next is very important, and you're probably going to see a pullback. So the easier trade is like this, or like this, or like this, or even if it got ugly, still down here. Like, it doesn't have to be bearish. It's still very, very, very bullish on your indicators. Like, very bullish stance. I don't believe you have divergence here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you do have daily divergence as well. So that means that this could get ugly. That means it could get ugly. You reject from here, no new high, weekly rolls. If the weekly rolls, you're probably going to lose this low and go make a new one. And this thing might be going down, repricing again. We see weekly divergence, we'll pay attention. But yeah, if this would confirm like right now, you do have risk of that. Momentum doesn't play around. And we have some crazy stuff going on that we were aware of for days. That's awesome. And now the news is talking about it. Now people on Twitter are talking about, hey, things could scale up on the California thing. And we were already aware of it, which is very, very nice. We're paying attention to the right things. The 10-year yield still trying to reject and curl down as of right now on the daily time frame. But is this just some kind of 4-hour move to go retest some stuff? Is this some kind of corrective move at this point? You did see that failure right here with the data. So the data should be heading in that direction for the time being, but we'll get more data in just a few days. All right, guys, let's go look at the SPY and just hang out for a bit. I'm going to go look at the chat, and we are going to try to look at some fun moves out there. We look at Microsoft a little more in detail. Just the reason that I'm not wanting to even go into Microsoft into more detail is because this is just going to be like you're squeezing right now. So literally, what takes place at the end of a squeeze? Like, what really takes place at the end of a squeeze? Does anybody know? Here, let's do something interesting here, okay? This was a squeeze. All right, we squeeze up on like 2-hour charts, probably, right? Then you start to see divergence and stuff like that, and you vomit. Oh, then we squeeze, right? We squeeze. You look up here and you go, oh, then we vomit. Probably with another 4-hour, 2-hour divergence. You look over here, we squeeze. You start to see these, FOMOers, So you go through periods of consolidation. But they're mean periods of consolidation where randomly you could get a 5% drop, 4.5% drop out of nowhere, right? Even this right here, doesn't this look kind of familiar? It kind of looks like similar to the strength we're getting now, except we're experiencing more than that. And you still get a 5% pullback in 4 days, 6% almost. So I don't want to be a part of that. I'm not going to short it because you don't know when that's going to take place. That could have happened here, here, here. Now, what you'd want to do is look for your monthly moves and then be like, hey, I can try it. So for Microsoft, if you don't have those moves, you need to join Patreon and see what's going on there. Because that's some good stuff over there. You can learn a lot about how high can this thing go, how low can this thing go, and guess what? Microsoft can go higher. Microsoft, if it really wants to, it can go 15 points higher if it wants to. Microsoft, if it wants to, it can be attracted to whole numbers, 500. If it really wants to, if it wants to scream. Now, I don't think that I would want to guess or think that that is going to happen. I would rather be in this trade, right? Isn't this trade is much easier. You're done. That, done. Let everyone else fuck around. Let everyone else do whatever they want. And you just go, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, it went to 500. Everyone's celebrating it. Dump. Back up. It's just much easier. So what is my analysis for something like Microsoft? My analysis is patience. That's it. We hit target, right? It's very good. It's just patience is what makes sense for anything that looks like this right now. You have to be patient. Microsoft just broke, right? Microsoft's at what? New all-time high, right? Yeah. So, yeah, you want to buy that new all-time high after after no retrace, after a 33% move in a month and a half? Okay, do your thing, but I won't. I'll be looking for this. I'll be looking for that. Then you'll hear me talk positively about Microsoft. Microsoft can do positive things still. It can be irrational for longer than you can keep shorting it, but it can also just dump at any time and give you that pullback opportunity, which is very likely to go all the way back down to 430. Literally 430. Like you could see a big ass drop. If you're really talking seriously, the structure could bring you all the way down to the bottom of that zone, which actually adds up to another price action style here, right? Getting you some fair value in that gap right in the middle. So I think executing upside plays on anything that is seeing that upside and hasn't really seen anything and is just showing squeeze is going to be very difficult. Is shorting it going to be difficult? Probably. So you might want to at least look for a short at like a monthly expected move with great reversal signals and then pay attention to position sizing, right? That's what I'm going to do. I thought about potentially doing that with Meta. I did. But is Meta showing me what I need to see in order to take the obvious play? No. Meta is showing me, hey, I want to pull back into here, like 674, even the availability to pull all the way down into 654, and then we can see that upside move again, right? But I think it's more likely to do something like this, go to 674, then curl up into positive territory. And look at this, towards June 20th, right on that Monday. Boom. If that shapes up, I will post that to Patreon. Okay? If a short shows up that I think would be a good opportunity to practice on, paper trade on, try to execute a play on, pay attention to position, like practice, we're going to show those things off. That's what we're going to do in the private streams as well in July. In July, we're literally going to go through these very simply, and then what I'm going to do is I'll even take the trade, right? And I'll literally watch it with you. But Meta hasn't shaped it up yet. And you got to wait till July for those things. I'm pretty tapped out over here, to be totally honest. Yeah, I'm drained. Wife's sick. Baby's, 1.5, trying to just always wants to be doing something different. Can get bored real easily. Having to take care of her. Having to make food all the time. Even though I'm terrible at making food. Because my wife's so good at it, I just like stopped. And now I'm like, oh God, I haven't cooked food in like 3 years. All I do is make breakfast. So I'm pretty like tapped out. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm not going to try for some kind of squeeze on a thing that looks like it's already squeezing. I would rather look at the Apples. I would rather look at the Teslas. I would rather look at these little guys like DJT and see if I can execute a play here. I'd rather look at something that's not screaming up and overbought on some time frame that I really like, right? I would rather look for the swing on gold or maybe like I think JP Morgan started to break to the upside right here. Very, very nice, right? JP Morgan could set up a short at a monthly expected move. Where does it want to go back down to? It potentially wants to go all the way back down into 240. But if it's not going to be that bad and you see this break through, this can just come back down into this type of area towards 264 and just curl up into positive territory. I think we'll have an extreme window here where we could see real weakness, but that could extend into some time, right? And then we see that come down towards like August. Like, right, it could be end of summer too, right? You always want to act like it can continue. Who the hell's texting me? I slipped. Oh, sorry. Let's go July. Like I said, if you're a trader, guys, if you're trading like water, you're down for up, you're down for down, right? You're ready for either one, but tell me right now that you want to take a call on SPY right now. Not with the curl up, not with this curl up in here, but right now, not with this tiny little pullback in here, but right now. No, it's going to be difficult. It could just turn down. I think it's still going to. I don't think that shorts will be easy to execute. But I would still say if we see things here, that's a lot different than seeing things here right now. Right? We have one more reason, right? You might have 3 here that aren't confirmed yet. So technically you might have 0 here. Maybe you have 1 here. We're overbought on the daily time frame. We're getting overbought on the daily time frame. We need a daily pullback. We need a 2-hour pullback, right? We need a 30-minute pullback. That's all you have. Like 1. Okay, and the other one's not even confirmed. 2-hour divergence, not confirmed anymore. 30-minute divergence, not confirmed anymore. The only thing you really got here is one thing. And so for me, I would rather see at least 2 things, and then I can pay attention, and see if we get one of those 2 scenarios up here. Then I can really watch it. Missed you yesterday? Yeah, I missed you guys too. What up, Coulter? Hope you're doing good. Sorry we had to miss out yesterday. Lame. Pretty lame, but this market has been wild. Yeah, it's been so nutty. The way it just curls up. This is squeezing, so... I mean, like I said, if you're already in it in these levels, you're kind of just like, holding on for dear life, hoping for 610. 610 is a sell wall. That's where the roll again. I hope so, Frederick. I'm down with that. That's if all the squeezing happens. That's the China deal, isn't it? Frederick read those signs perfectly. We got to give kudos to Frederick. He just came in and was like, I think it was like down in here. I think it was like down in here. And we were talking about it curling up, and Frederick was like, "No, dude, we're heading to 6,400." And I was like, "Whoa, you're saying new all-time high?" I'm like, "Ooh, a little early for that." Then we saw this, and I go, "Okay, now new all-time high," and I'm starting to agree with them. And I'm like, "Hey, if you get the mega squeeze, it can happen." 640 would be like mega. Like you see the timing of that. I don't know if, I mean, unless, no way. No, it's over here. If you want another trend. Something in this general area. You know me, I'm not the biggest trends guy, but. So you're saying like, wham. Just wham. I think you would more so see like, maybe. Or, then you get that 6,400. But that's me. Pull back. Go higher. That'd be crazy. I'm down for it. That sounds fun. That is technically what I'm seeing. I just see like a pullback window in there towards like July. I like it. AVGO. Let's go look at AVGO. AVGO's been squeezing, right? AVGO pulled back. AVGO filled gap. AVGO goes up. AVGO might run into some 2-hour problems, but it also might not. Isn't that crazy? This is where you probably want to look at your 30-minute and just be staring at that and doing some price action on it, to be honest. Looking at the MACD, seeing if that can go positive. Because if AVGO is able to go like this and then make that higher low, this area right here would be, hey, can we go test that high? As of right now, it looks like one move. As of right now, looking for, oh yeah, rejection divergence is there too. Yeah, not bad. Looks like it's going to try to curl up the 2-hour. 2-hour slightly negative, but you got to watch for rejections in here for the 2-hour. So that's why this is going to be like, watch that 30-minute. I don't know if this, unless you saw that and took that rejection divergence, but looks pretty interesting. Like I said, I think these things can form reversal signals. As far as AVGO goes, by the way, just so you're aware, it can make one more big move and attempt to go to something like 275, right? So if we're going to get a big 2-hour move, you look for that to extend all the way up, even into next week, into like 275, maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday. And you'd probably look for the just like 30-minute to keep holding, pull it back, holding, and then we start to drop. So over here is where I'd be paying attention for AVGO. For a potential like top, like a trap top. If you just make a lower high here, you can go down into this zone. You know, this could be just like boom, boom, boom. Then you figure stuff out because a lot of things need more 2-hour pullbacks. I think the market will be super weird. I think you already see it. You see individual stocks with some weird looks. You see individual stocks that have already squeezed. You have see individual stocks that haven't squeezed at all. You have potential for like Apple to do something cool, right? Showed pathway higher. 30-minute higher low. 2-hour gets going. I think Apple wants to pop maybe today. Let me see. See how that's looking. You guys were part of the Patreon chat. You know that I was grabbing Apple at the dips. Very nice. I'm gonna look at pricing, see if people are like bearish or what. If I want to add it all on that dip there. Okay. 10-2, okay. What do I think Apple can go to? My box up ahead. 217. 217 for Apple with the availability to squeeze past the zone. Overreaction. Just wham, 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 wham. Breaks trend. Comes back in. Then goes again. All right, this would add up to, we're going to keep seeing some squeezing. Or it's really, really fast. You just see like up, 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 and away. And then you run into a top, like a squeeze moment into like the 20th. You pull it back and you go again. Or you pull it back like this and you go again. Because that would tap into here as well, which is a good thing. So I don't mind that look. I think it's super interesting. Let me see. Do I want to change anything I'm doing? No. No changes necessary. No changes necessary. If Apple rolls here, though, it's really bad, by the way. Like, if Apple rolls, that's like we're failing. We're failing pretty heavily here of curling up a weekly chart, and that's just a problem. Doesn't suggest that yet, but it does really look like it needs to go. It is building and building and building, so we'll just have to see. You know? Let me look if I need to update management of trade with that. Nope, weren't able to go negative here. Okay. 30-minute rolling. 30-minute has not rolled, so no management for risk update necessary. Mana Lucas, you're starting to get a lot of stocks lines there. Yeah, I don't think so. I have confidence that almost every single line that I draw will be more useful. Microsoft, we already looked at. All-time high. I'm not even touching that thing. It can squeeze if it wants to squeeze, but thanks for the blessings for my sneeze a second ago. You guys want to look at Qualcomm? If you want to look at Microsoft again, we just looked at it a bit ago. Just keep clicking back until you see Microsoft up in the top left. Very, very good for Qualcomm to break through. This is very, very good. This is what you want to see. This is exactly what we want to get going. So what do we want to see from here? we potentially want to raise the floor right now. That would be cool. That would be cool. You're already seeing the squeezing go, go, go. And if you can continue that and just keep going, you want to watch out for what? We got to draw a new zone, right? We'll redraw this one in a second. That was overall where I thought we would maybe fall from. But we can draw a zone now and really just mark this stuff off. Mark off the high point, mark off the low point, and just go bam. And you see right away, what's it looking like on the daily? Well, where are we going to test? Right into those sellers. So where do I think we'll potentially reject? Potentially, right? We can see squeezing that takes you higher, and then we can use this later. Or we can ram our head into here. I wish I had monthly expected moves. And then we can curl down and then curl back up. I think you want to squeeze here, though, for this. I think you want to squeeze past the zone, personally. So this is what you would turn into, right? You would say, okay, you can actually, what you really want to happen here is to peak above that level. You want to see like up and even break out and then curl down and do this. That's perfect. That's still fine, right? A lot of stuff here, a lot in here, a lot in here. And we could go sideways for a bit too. Man, that would be crazy. I don't think we really will see that sideways, but something like this into this to just say we're going again. You kind of see like a stair step kind of thing down, and then it just curls back up. That would take you into earnings, end of July. That'd be crazy. Like it so far, it looks like some PCC coming out at 0.77, 0.87 for the CPC yesterday. Let's go back over to the SPY for just a moment here. We're just seeing more of that dry price action. Check out Nail on the daily, weekly. Well, I'll just look at HGX first, if you don't mind. On the weekly, HGX is in my report. I want you to look at, okay, here, I'll give you guys a little hint of what's in my housing report that I might post to Patreon. Patreon members, do you want to see that housing report I posted, or I created? I created like a housing report, a housing brief, a housing document, just talking about the risk of the housing market and the overall scenario that we could be going through. Just let me know. For the time being, if you look at the monthly chart for something like HGX, this is what I drew up for it. All right. This is something very important to understand here, right? The housing sector could go up. Nail could do the same thing. And it probably has a similar look. Usually it has a similar look. It's never the same. It's always like more dramatic and things like that. You don't really want to pay attention to like price action as much over here with Nail. You want to be paying attention to HGX. But look at this. It's low. It's probably about to at least get to that 114.83 by like 2026. I'm genuine about that. I think that Nail will get to 114.83 by 2026, or actually, I think that's it. So I think we're going to see this, which this would be like most likely. There is an opportunity to do like this all of a sudden. Okay. HGX though is suggesting like what? Well, we did break this little low in here. So if this is a daily trend move that fails, it's going to fail here. And that's kind of what Nail is suggesting. We didn't necessarily lose this guy though. That's what's interesting to me. Okay. So what we could experience here is an upside move that fails, or the upside move that sets up the divergence. Either way, you're running up into when? Well, potentially the end of the year, and then we start to see this roll. What if we start to see it roll early, and then we see the SPY continue up on its monthly charts, right? It continues up for a few months, then we see reversal signals later, because the housing sector usually likes to front run things. Like, right, a lot of the time it can be a leading indicator. It is not right now. It really isn't. The daily scale is struggling more and more and more, but now we have that higher low. Now we're curling up into positive territory. So I would say that Nail is about to get going. This is where it's like you can probably look at pricing for like end of year and just see if you like catch a move at some point from Nail. But that's kind of hard because it does decay. So you don't want to hold on to it too long, even if you have like a 2-month option. If you look at let's look at HTX on the shorter time frames real quick to see if that nail thing might set up sooner rather than later. I would say that the time to really look for that position, at least for a decent move, would potentially be if we see something like this. I think if you see something like this, you would say right here is where you get the big move. That'd be nice for your 2-hour chart. All right. SPY, as of right now, just doing more of the SPY things. And you starting to go too. Didn't we look at this? Hey, there you go. High or low. Very, very nice. Just curl up, right? This is where it's going to make an attempt here. And it could even curl up the daily chart. So, yeah, you dipped into the top of the zone. Very, very nice. This is going to try to set the new high. It is going to run its head into some resistances up here if we make a daily divergence. So there's kind of two zones. This is the first one that you want to ride up. All right, that's the one you want to pay attention to because you just rejected off of it right there. So you want to pay attention to this. You want to see it peek its head above. You don't want a divergence right here that curls down. You want this to go wham and then find resistance here. You want to go wham, and then you want to pull that back again, and then you want to go for a ride. That's fine to do because you're just raising that floor. Boom, boom, boom. Then you watch out over here for maybe like a bigger pullback, right? I think that'd be great, but also be aware of the risky thing, right? How could it make divergence? Well, it could come up to this area, peek its head above, like, hey, we kind of are a little bit good here, but then you might be doing this, to do this, to do this, to do this. Bam, bam, bam. You can go sideways for a long time here. So this next move will tell you a lot about it. If you could bring this stock back up, it's actually a pretty good swing. How much is NU? Let's see, we got RSI strong, price action strong. NU could go to like 13. The squeeze potential is there. At least 14. Yeah, I'll grab that. I'm kind of taking a bunch of little plays, so the hell? Some of this pricing is so strange. There's not enough liquidity. Not enough liquidity for me to grab something. If I'm going to do something with this, I'm going to take a YOLO play. Say like, oh, we're going to do this. Wham. Right? Reach out to the 14, like 14 level, and say, we're going to go wham. Then I can like take my profit, leave runners, and then see if it keeps going. So it's just, I can't get filled. I can't get filled 2 weeks out. That's crazy. So I ain't touching it if it has that problem. Because if it has that problem when you're buying, you can have that problem when you're selling too. Like I know people want those options if we end up here, but that move's not guaranteed. And then you could have problems like selling it if it just goes to like here. So I'm like, I understand if you want to take it. You want to take it, right? You know, do your thing. The type of play that I want to take on it though is small and out of the money. I don't mind the look. I still think like, well, I still think potentially like pullbacks can come, but man, you get some China news here. Crazy, crazy. MRK has a nice daily one. Let's look at that one. Daily setup for which kind of trade? What are you thinking? I mean, higher lows for sure. That's nice. Divergence. Bam. There it is. There's your pullback to get in. Now it says I want to go. Now it should go. Right now you want to break through. That's crazy. What does it really want to take back here? In order to be really bullish, you got to take back this entire zone. I would just be marking off this one right here. Saying that. I would say that right there. You see how we kind of break, reject? What you want to see is like us get there, right? Even exceed that, and then pull back down. Yeah, that's how you flip back to like the bull. Like we are going in a bullish trend, my friend. Like that's what that is. I think. Do you guys think a lot of people take puts over the weekend because of this whole like protest or whatever happening? I think it's possible. Trump makes an announcement about China trade deal. Yeah, when's he doing it though, Josh? Like that's the thing. When's he supposed to talk today? Is Trump announce? God dang it! Is Trump announcing China trade deal today? What time? Let's see if it gives us like a time where he's talking or something. Very nice. Based on available information, there's no definitive evidence, President Trump is announcing a new trade deal with China today, June 11, 2025. However, posts on X and web sources indicate ongoing discussions and claims about a trade deal with China, specifically posts from 2025, June 11th. Trump announced a deal with China is done and waiting final approval from him and Chinese President Xi Jinping, though no specific announcement time or event is confirmed today. Reduce the DRS 90-day pause. Let's see if he's scheduled at all. President Donald Trump's public schedule for today, June 11, 2025, does not include any speeches or public addresses. His day includes 11 a.m. intelligence briefing, 12:30 p.m. lunch with Vice President J.D. Vance. Aw, little bro day. Little VP and P, bro day. How friggin' cute is that? I wonder if they tussle each other's hair and Trump's kind of all falls out and they have to put it all back together. 4 p.m. ambassador credential ceremony. 6:30 p.m. attending Les Mis opening night with the First Lady. Dude, that sounds like, no offense, like to people who like Les Mis and stuff like that, not my cup of tea. God, I would be pissed if that was on my schedule. But then again, I've never really seen top-notch theater before. I am very sheltered. No way to do puts during Trump's birthday. That's right, Trump's birthday. Oh my goodness. That's like what? That's Saturday too, isn't it? I don't fucking know. I don't know anybody's birthday. The only reason I know my daughter's and my wife's because they're both like in the same week. He already did post about it today. It's done. Well, yeah, he said it's done, but people don't trust Trump. BA divergence. I see that. Sorry about that. Justin, you still here, buddy? Here, give me a sec, Dave, okay? What are you looking at right now? Still looking at Apple. If we get a China deal, guys, Apple is going to scream. But, man, still looking at Apple. I believe the swing is still holding. Yeah. So if you look here, this is the only moment you get a little scared. But nothing on our side. Didn't really shake me out. I just saw the 5-minute, and then I had to take care of my wife, so I was like, maybe I could reposition. So I was able to reposition, which is just great. For this one though, you're not necessarily seeing bad things, right? You're not getting that like daily confirmation. Right here was the scary moment. It figured its stuff out, right? So the daily confirmation, you just don't want to see this like flip, flip, flip. That would all be horrible. You'd go take care of gap at the least. He said in the post today, 55% tariff on China, 10% on US. Damn. Where's Justin at? There he is. Here waiting for BA. There he is. There he is. All right, thanks, Justin. Sorry, I didn't hear it in my ear. I don't know how I didn't hear the ding in my ear. Ooh, I don't like this one, man. I don't like this. You know what this is? This is the tightest little trap you've probably seen in a while. This is gonna have 2-hour triple divergence, right? This is a very easy to execute thing right now. So when you see these things, when you see a trade setup, does your brain immediately think like, oh, that's going to be a daily pullback, right? Stop doing that. Okay. Don't think it has to be a daily pullback right now, but it can. It is squeezing. So you have to think more like a daily pullback is most probable. And all the time, you want to always go with that kind of language in your head. If you can flip your head to that type of language, that would be better, in my opinion. Okay. The reason for that is it opens you up to being wrong. When you say it has to get a daily pullback, yeah, it doesn't. Does it have to? And even that, does it have to do it right now? Even if you believe it has to, I think it needs one, but does it have to do it right now? Now you have some inclination, you have some signals that suggest that it could happen, right? Really close to the center line. So this is where you're very likely to see it happen, which means you can execute a trade. But even though you have all of those reasons, I still want to hear the language of a daily pullback would be most probable. There's 2-hour divergence. When that confirms, I will take it, but I'll pay attention and make a plan for if I get screwed and this thing does something irrational, okay? What were the tariffs from China and USA? Ed, are you asking about China and USA tariffs pre-Trump? Is that what you're asking, Ed? So for this one, you're looking for a 2-hour good confirmation. You're starting to get that with price action and the RSI. Yep. China tariffed the shit out of all of our stuff, and we didn't tariff them at all. And then we also buy loans from them. Like companies from here take loans from China as well. So it was really, really bad. Yeah. That's not good for us. And we shipped all of our jobs over there too. It's like all of it, literally all of it was China was making money off of us hand over fist. Yeah. So this is why it's like redoing these things though, it should cause some pain in markets. It will cause pain in revenues as long as and the thing is, these companies like Walmart, they're going to do this. They're going to increase those prices, right? By a bunch of percent. And the consumer up here is maybe even going to still pay for them so they can keep them at those higher prices. If the consumer then refuses to pay for them, then they have to do what? Well, they're going to lose money, right? They're going to lose, their revenue is going to look like shit, and they're going to have to do what to the price? They're going to have to decrease it, and instead, they're going to have to come over here and say, the consumer's not accepting that price, so we are going to have to lose margin. Okay? That's how it works. This is how this works. Like, this is all it takes. Like, what matters with like companies and moves and stuff is, can the consumer pay for the product? Does the consumer want the product? And then the other part is, if the consumer can't pay for the product and that company would like to sell products, they will decrease the price and eat margin. This is why you're living in one of the most unique times in history and you don't even realize it. You're living in a time where the consumer keeps accepting higher prices ever since COVID. We shouldn't, the reason, and this is why I didn't really like the payments, like just payments going out to people. I understand it was to hold bills, but you should let those things just fall. You need to let the market do what the market's going to do, or else you're going to run into bigger problems later. And that is why you are most likely in some kind of big major topping cycle, and you're going to see something really ugly. I would say that we could extend it into 2030 if we really want to, but I think you have a window in Q1, Q2 of 2026 that can be really, really rough, and that's in my report as well. Now, this is 2-hour divergence. So what do we need here? What could be a good hint? Well, if you make a 30-minute divergence here as well, look at the little double bottom. You go up. I'll show you this. Who asked about this? Was this Justin, right? Justin, if you go up and you make a 30-minute divergence and then that confirms, that's the best place to take it, and then you treat it like a 2-hour trade when the 2-hour would confirm. And then what you do is you manage for this time being on the 15. But if it just curls down and the 2 hour curls down, you manage this like it's on the 30-minute. And you say, okay, if that retest, right, if it curls up into positive territory, right, then I'm out. But if we're able to price action break this low, we're able to price action, technical analysis with the MACD here, able to go more negative, then you know that that's just a retest, and this could be the opportunity to watch a roll and maybe even reload those contracts. You could potentially make a trade here, like take profit, watch it try to go up one more time, and then see if you get that rejection to curl down, and then you would say, okay, this is probably the bigger trade. That's the actual daily pullback gonna like happen for BA. So just be aware of it, but you are taking a play that is kind of calling a top. So that means with a position size in the trade like this, with 2 hour divergence behind it as well, I'm still looking at those smaller amounts for this and just trying to make money out of the first play, and then understanding that this most likely will give you what? The right shoulder that could have been. And if you get lucky and it's really, really ugly, then you just say, hey, thank you for the luck, right? You say thank you. I would make a weekly expected move. Justin, if you decide to do something, if it sets up this, let me know. Okay, Justin? Let me know on like Friday, and I will, I'll do it now. I'll type it into at least my, let me do this. Copy. Paste, let me see here. One. I don't want that 1. I want it at 5. Let me get through this real quick. Hold on. Okay, so this is going to be BA. I'm going to make a weekly range for you next week. 5. What's the price like right now? 215, just so we're aware of where that could be. Okay, so yeah, remind me again on Friday. I do have it here. Or Justin, if you're part of the Patreon, try to say it in that chat that we've been talking in, okay? I'm already half into it. Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I understand that because also you could be getting something like this. But I just want you to notice here that you kind of showed this little rejection right here. And you didn't make the new low. Instead, you kind of built up. You kind of took out this level of here. So you could be doing this little dip down to shake people out before you go higher, even though you see it lower. Just be aware. I think you have a chance here that you could just see like down and down and down. But I would still just always be aware, like there are some extreme buyers right here. So really, you shouldn't feel like extremely safe. I would be looking at your management of the trade all the way until you see that low break. Then, if you're not going to make this move, then you want to see this move, and then you're probably going to see something like this, right? You're going to like flash negative, not be able to curl up and just see some kind of retest to go lower, unless you go through something bad. Yeah, that was a lot on BA. That's pretty good. Squeeze them. DJT starting to come back a little bit here. I do like that look for the time being. I do like the 30-minute higher low. I do like the confirmation there. DJT is saying, hey, there's an attempt here to take out this high. What's the other one? Apple, right? Tesla. Man, don't you wish? Look at that. Bam, we didn't do this like we wanted to. But we also did this, which is something else we wanted. It just looks wonky as hell. Like this part here, I was like, what the? You saw me. I actually was talking to people about Tesla in the Patreon chat on my phone, I believe. And I was just like, do you guys see this buying from Tesla? I was saying that right near. I was like, yeah, it's confirming. That's what you're looking for. I was like, it looks like it wants to go to 325.50, but God, that buying looks weird. I don't feel safe and cozy. Don't feel safe until you break that low. And then even then you can get a retest. Sometimes it's like good to try to take a little bit of profit off while that's in profit. And then if you get that retest and it's successful, you see it start to roll, like you see like little 15-minute, 30-minute divergence in there. That would be best case, but you see a lower high maybe on 15-minute again. I'm I'm talking like that 2-hour retest is going to look like a 15-minute going like this. And then you start to see that. You go, okay, now I know. Okay, I'm going to reload that money for BA, Justin. Just beat it. Thanks for the Tempest call Monday. How'd that work out? Very nice. Yeah, it's curling up. This is where you want to break through. It looks like you could extend that move to at least 76. I think this is a big moment, though. I think this is a massive moment. Like, if you really want to say, like, how high can this really go? If you want to be a little bit more greedy with it, you draw this. You draw that, and you say, we're going to test this. Curl up into positive territory. Not even overbought. You're still always looking for the lower high, the divergence, but looks pretty good. I like the 2-hour cross up as well. Pink. Very, very nice. 30-minute could get pullback at any time. Starting to see a little bit of weakness in there for like a 30-minute pullback. Let's see, are people getting bearish or bullish? Holy crap, that just went to 0.65. 610 is the decision-making area for this week. And I would say with this run, even if you have monthly options, you know, for the SPY, you're going, okay, I need to potentially take some off of the table in case something bad happens this weekend. That's just something. Thanks for mentioning TM, because TEM. So I don't look at it very often, so you guys mentioned it. We just looked at it. But a lot of people in the chat saw it first, and that's why I want to give kudos to you guys. A lot of people in the chat see it first, and then they bring it to my attention to double check, and then everyone gets to see it, and that's just fantastic. SPY 608 today. Yeah, 608.33 is your daily expected move. Patreon members, we do have the second standard deviation. I don't know if, that's what I'm saying, if the news was solidified with a China deal, I feel like you'd be seeing more than this. Let's get out of this. Let's go look. Let me go to my Truth Social. Let's do that. Go to Trump. CPI just out. Great numbers. Fed should lower 1 full point. Would pay much less interest on debt coming due. So important. Less interest on debt coming due. Let's do that. Let's look at that then. When is next interest on debt payment for U.S. debt? Let's see when that next payment is. I'm going to guess it's right after September. Oh, they're due on the 15th of each month. Okay. I thought it was like maybe a quarterly thing or something. Okay, so June 15th. No, they ain't cutting then. Our next scheduled for August 15th and September 15th. Okay. Cool. Now we know. They got 9 trillion maturing this year. Jesus. Bro. Like, if you think that your little $2,000 credit card you can't pay is bad, just imagine trying to beat Trump right now. Except the U.S., they never go to, government never goes to, they'll garnish your wages and stuff like that, but they ain't garnishing the wages of the political people, of the politicians, even though they're the ones like, going into choosing to go into more debt. They're not garnishing their wages, right? What's Amazon's deal? I think Amazon's still trying to head up, but pathway higher, you can get a pullback. Anytime with these, you can get a pullback. Like this is potential for rejection here too. Like look at your 2-hour just screaming. You can get a 2-hour pullback anytime. Right? What I think is going to go on here is I think by the end of the month, you're going to see some good levels for Amazon. But as far as Amazon goes, we were looking at 220, right? 220. Now, we were looking at 220 just because of this area here is pretty important. If you look like 2-hour scale, you can kind of see a mess going on there where you kind of bounce up, bounce down type of price action. I would mark this off kind of like this. I want to break through there. Right? That's all it is. All right, that's just to prove like what I'm looking for. Now, what I'm really looking for here is, well, the 2 hour to turn down. This actually would be a great time for a 2 hour pullback. 2 hour pulls down, then we see 2 hour go back up, then we see 2 hour drop back down, and then you have divergence, right? But what I'm suggesting is we could just see a euphoric move and then a euphoric dump. Just wham into like wham. But if you raise that floor, you can come back down into here and not have to revisit all the way down. So you could just be going this into like this. The risk gets heightened at 220. And you're pretty much there. So it's like, do you want to chase 3 points when this could experience a big drop? I understand that a lot of people are mentioning squeeze. I understand that squeeze is on the table. And I even mentioned on Patreon multiple times, this is squeeze time, right? But make sure that if you're at those decision-making opportunities and you're already in the play and you're making money, make sure to make money, you know? It's not a bad thing to make money. That's like the whole point. It's to make money to benefit the people around you. That should be your goal. Your goal should always be to attach that last part to the statement. Your goal is not to make money to buy a Lamborghini. Your goal is to make money to improve the life of the people around you. That's it. You need a good purpose. Have a good purpose is a big. I'll give you advice on that. Having purpose has like totally changed my life, right? I've had moments where my purpose I thought I was supposed to have a purpose for got taken away. If you relate it to your family, they're always there for you. Try to improve your family's life. Try to improve your friends, your best friend's life, you know? That's why you want to make money. That is so much better than a car, isn't it? My buddy, he's really been struggling, man. My buddy's really been struggling, man. So I really want to help him out. Oh, I just made a bunch of money. Let me go buy a $100,000 truck. No, man. Oh, man. Help the people around you. Hey, what's going on, man? I heard you're struggling to pay for some stuff, man. I ran into some money. Can I help you out for a second? Not for free. You're gonna have to do something for me. You wanna come hang out? You wanna come work for me for just a little bit? You wanna help me around the yard? We can hang out, have some beers, work around the yard, and we want to get you out of that $2,000 credit card. I'm willing to do that for you, buddy. You've been my best friend for a long time. Why can't we do that as people? I don't get it. Votes no's. AMC down 0.02. God dang, Richard. You're a king. Now, Richard, hold on here. That Porsche. Yeah, you do what you want with your money. I'm just suggesting something as a trader, right? You don't. I've seen the other side. I've been a very popular person before. I've seen the other side. It's filled with bad people. I'll put it that way. So what you want here? AMC, yeah, going down and down. Man, Richard, did that purple line help you out? God, did that purple line help you out that 1 week? God, sure did. Should have helped you on your plays, right? Hope you understood. Remember, 30-minute curls down. Ugh, you're really hoping that doesn't curl down. If it curls down, bad thing. Oop, right on the curl down. Just terrible. But you literally had that move right here. Right there. Now it's up there. So you got a lot of work to do, AMC. And it looks like your downside might not be done. Remember, I'm looking at that $3 price point. Maybe even by end of week. 2 hour pullback for markets. 2 hour uproar next week. That'd be insane. However we get there, I'll stick with my awesome art. Hell yeah. Yeah, so Amazon, I think you're just in the time frame here where you're like, oh, okay, it can go higher, but how much higher can it go? Well, my at least the information I have, nobody knows how high or low Amazon will go in the next few days. Did you know that? But what you do know is the options market told you that you're at the point right now, 217.50, you're right next to 220. It's like you're at the point where it's like, okay, the probabilities are that we are going to see a pullback now. That's all you got to think about. And the 30-minute doesn't look too happy there. It needs to break through. Apple, why you gotta do that to me? Apple, why you gotta bust my balls like this? No management for trade necessary just yet. Pathway higher was shown. So I'm fine with these dips down. I might have to look like 15 minutes to really see what's going on with Apple. It needs to go, man. Hey, Croker, turn off, just turn off everything. My wife's the same way. You don't want my wife taking care of California right now. Um, Depopulation might happen. But it's like if you just don't pay attention to it, it doesn't really affect you as much as you think. Like the things going on in the world don't really affect you as much as you think. Directly. Is Nvidia ever going to come back to 120s? I don't know, man. Nvidia's a beast right now. All you have to do is keep doing this. Do the irrational thing one more time. Just do the irrational thing even harder. Bam. Still, more probable things are like this, right? Pullbacks, things like that, divergence, daily pullback, okay, right? Daily pullback, go. But the most probable things haven't been playing out. I think you at least give Nvidia the room. That's why I'm just saying, like, wait for monthly expected moves, guys. I know you want to short. I know you do. You know how I know you want to short? Because this is the exact thing market makers want to do is say, yeah, it's easy, short it. No, it's easy, short it. Go ahead. It's fine. It's going to be fine. Short it. And then what they do is they show you it, and then they shoot it up to 150, and you go, screw that. Nope, I'm buying it, right? Most people would say, like, okay, I'm buying it now. It's PUV 150. And then it goes down, right? It does have the signals to do it. I'm not saying you can't try to execute, but I'm saying look at this. I'm saying look at it, right? Just look at it. Triple divergence, confirms. 30-minute management for trade, triggered. Then you haven't seen a confirmation since. So what you're waiting for now is a 2-hour confirmation, and I would say get that confirmation below the 5. Below the 5-day. That's what I would say. You want that to start to roll too. So if you don't get that, you can continue to do irrational things. You don't get this, and then continue, and then confirm, and then go negative. Like you just keep curling up. You confirm like you did right over here with divergence, right? You do all of this. And then the 30-minute just goes, I'm going to curl up again. Actually, this looks really fucking weak, though. This looks like a top for Nvidia. All right, so Nvidia's going to crash. Apple's going to moon to hold the market up. And GME and AMC are going to pop off because Nvidia's crashing. All right, cool. Sounds good. Come on, SPY. Let's see red. I don't know, man. I think I'm going to wait for monthly expected move to think about like shorting. Maybe a fun little play or something like that for Friday, but sounds good, right, Jonna? Wouldn't that be perfect? I wish I could read that. Like, I wish that would happen. That'd be cool. But Nvidia literally could go to 150. It could spike to 150. It could get a little 30-minute pullback and then spike to 150. It could 2-hour pullback, then go to 150. It could do a lot. It can remain crazy. So if you're going to execute the play, what does that mean? Make sure your reasons are there. Make sure you have confirmation so that reasons are actually there. And then you just go, okay, what if I get screwed here? What am I looking for? Blah, blah, blah. What am I looking for? Oh, what if I get screwed here? Okay, if I get screwed here, then the 30-minute would curl up. Or I see price action hold up better. And so I can take my risk out once that goes wrong. My moves for the dare. You day trading, Croker? I gotta know. If it mega squeezed all time high, 8.5 points. Let's go. Yeah, and then you get pullback. You literally have a squeeze window like now. And during that squeeze window is also the window for weakness. It's like you have squeeze window from like here until mid-June if prices can hold up. But at the same time, in that window, you have the daily pullback there as well. You have the daily pullback window of options expiration next week, and then you have the daily pullback window of mid-July. That's how I see it, at least when I've been drawing it up in my free time to stay alert, stay ready, stay good, right? And that's how I see it. Finally made it home. Did I miss the $1 million move? Nah. You're missing Apple trying to reject here again. Is this going to be like flop news for China? Like, that would be funny. Everyone's taking calls just because Trump's telling them to, kind of. It worked in the past. Let's look at volatility. As far as volatility stands on the 30-minute, it says, hey, even if we get a 30-minute pullback, we can continue the move. Isn't that wild? 2 hour, you actually violated one divergence point down here on your RSI right here. So you literally could just continue the move. God dang, this looks like it wants to pop up. Volatility of volatility. Holy, dude. Oh, it wants to. Oh my goodness, it wants to. What's VIX 9-day look like? That's a little closer. Someone pointed, I never looked at VIX 9-day, so thank you for bringing it to my attention. I don't know who did that way back in the day. Who, are you still here? Who showed me this? I never even looked at VIX 9-day before. Pretty cool. Okay, so this means what? I think we get this. I think we get this. This is what I think happens here. This is a think. There's no basis for a trade here for the SPY with what I'm going to say. I think we do get the Moon Boy. And then I think after that, I think we get it into Friday. We just see slow grind maybe, and then a few pops in there. Maybe Friday. Maybe you get like boom, boom, boom. It's a little slower, but we just slow grind up. And then maybe like Monday is wham. 2 hour pullback into mid Wednesday. Curl up into OPEX. Show a high on Tuesday. Fall back down. Then we see that weakness come in and we see if we can get that daily pullback and where it stops. And we do all the same things on the way down. That seems to be the likely scenario. I have a bad feeling about this weekend. You kind of should. The reason you should have a bad feeling about this weekend is you have a lot of, like, this is what I said to my wife. I know this is, it's total tinfoil. It's very lotto stocksy, but I went, how funny is it if we use this excuse of the California riots and worldwide riots or whatever to sell off markets on, say, Monday, and GME and AMC are just ripping, and everyone's distracted by potential riots maybe continuing and things like that. I think that would be so funny if everyone's out there rioting and GME and AMC just run, and like half the people in it, or like actually probably not half, because I think most of them aren't necessarily going to those, but they could counter protest. Like, people miss out on the move is what I'm saying, because they're out there protesting. I think that'd be funny. Yeah, Richard, Richard, that's some analysis we can follow. Use random X posts to help prove your point. What's the new date, Richard? Yeah, but they're telling you it's bad, Adam. I know. They're not. I'm the guy in the middle, right? I'm this guy all the time. I'm in here. But everyone's telling you it's this. And if the media tells you it's this and you see markets dropping, people are going to believe it. People are going to believe it. Remember just a few days ago? Okay, I'll show you. Remember a few days ago with the whole Donald Trump and Elon Musk thing? Remember what that did to Tesla? Is anyone talking about that anymore? Is Tesla going right back up? Is Tesla highly likely to reject from here? Kind of is. But the trend is so good. 30-minute is so good that it's going to continue. So even if you get a 30-minute pullback, it's like, I'm going to continue. But everyone forgot about that now, right? Everyone's forgotten about it. You know what I said about it? You know exactly what I said about. I'll give you my one word. My one word analysis was on June 5th. Right? June 5th, right here. My June 5th, I saw it touch this, and you know what I did? I posted and I said, PSYOP. This is a fucking PSYOP. I was like, and I even said, is DraftKings taking bets on a PSYOP? Like, that's pretty much what I was saying. I was like, DraftKings taking bets on this? Because I'm down. I'll take that bet. I think that it'll be another PSYOP, another distraction. What was everyone talking about before Trump and Elon had a little tussle? What were they talking about after? Epstein. Are you seeing the Epstein thing talked about all the time now? Yeah, by the groups who are still talking about it, who still understand, like, hey, you know, whatever else is going on, it's a distraction potentially from Epstein too. There's so many things that they don't want you to focus on right now. If you want my analysis on some Epstein Island, my analysis is it's way worse than we think, actually. I think it's like, I think it's either, I don't think it's a nothing burger at all. So I think it's way worse than you think. And I think the people in trouble are all politicians across the world. That's what I think. So yeah, so that's my assessment on it. Heel toe, it'll never come out. You will never see it. It'll be the aliens. It's the new aliens. Oh, I believe you, Joseph. I believe that people can make it look worse than it is. I still think there's some bad behavior there. But overall, I think it'll be used as an excuse at some point. Yeah, I think everything just is an excuse these days. I think it's all, I really do think this at this point. I think everything's to do with money right now. I think everything is to do with money and power right now. That's it. But we're mostly looking to make money, right? So we're really paying attention to these type of things, right? Are they curling down? What's going on here? We're about to hit like, 10 a.m. Are we getting any kind of data, further data today? At 10:30, you have a bill auction, 17-week bill auction, 12 p.m., 10-year note auction. And then 1 p.m., we will get the monthly budget statement. Tomorrow, oh, that was a burp, my bad. Tomorrow we'll get PPI. Remember, we showed these 10-year yields. We'll see if that number comes in light. If the 10-year yield curls up, you want to see something really scary? You guys want me to show you something really scary? It's in my report. You see the blue line? It's in my report, my housing report. If you guys want it on Patreon, I'll give it to you. Here you go. There was the top in 2007 yields, and this is the direction that these yields want to go right now. So, do you think that this would cause a total collapse of something in the system? Who thinks yes? Who thinks no? Just type yes or no in the chat. Type yes or no in the chat. Do you think that these rates and mortgages going above 10% potentially would be bad? Yes. Yes. Right? So do you think the Fed, if they saw this, they would want to go, oh shit, we need to cut? Yes. Do you think the Fed is most likely going to cut if we just see this? I would argue, yes, they will. Which means what? Maybe we could pay attention to some TL Tizzle. TL Tizzle for Dizzle. You know what I'm saying? Look at that monthly chart. High or low, maybe? Maybe on the weekly? Ooh, that's a lower low. Ooh, weekly divergence? Wow, that's weird. It's almost like TLT is going to just rip to the sky all of a sudden. over the next couple months. In the next couple of months. Does it mean it's done right now? No, it might need to go make that daily divergence first. It might need to make that daily higher low first. It's piling up in this area. You're starting to see little things like this, but we didn't show pathway. Did we? No, we showed pathway higher. So this might even be done. This might be going now. There's always the chance that you can go like this. You can go like this, right? I think we might see one of those moments in the next few days. But investing in TLT, maybe I need to be like my target play and just invest and then scale in again if it goes down to 82.50 or below that that last bar. We look end of day for TLT. That's what I like to do, especially going into PPI. Yeah. Melt it up. Oh, looks good. F yes. Nah. Boost is like, nah, it's fine. Housing market crash. Wow. You want to know the funny part? You want to know the funny part? You know why this is going to go up? I'm pretty much like telling you guys everything that's in there. It's just written out and it shows this data. You want to know the funny part? This does not normally move in the same direction as yields as much as it is right now. So that, to me, meant one of them's lying, and it's very obvious that it seems to be that the 10-year yield would be lying. If the 10-year yield is not lying, yeah, you're walking your way up. If markets continue to go up, you're walking your way up into a stock market crash, like an absolute crash. But the housing sector is going to go up. Why would the housing sector try to do this or try to do this? Because if prices right now are slightly down, they are, and then rates are down or are coming down, you're going to start to see this pick up. Simple as that. Be aware of it. Be aware of what goes on with rates these days, guys. You need to be aware of it even as a trader. If they don't move and those rates sky high and curl up on a monthly chart, you bet your ass you want to be looking for reversal signals in these stocks. But that might take all the way into 2026. Can we safely say we had our pullback on the SPY this morning? We haven't had a pullback on the SPY this week. No, you haven't. This is not the pullback. this right. This is what, like this? No, that was yesterday. This right here. You're literally like 5-minute price action guy right now, and you're going okay. Maybe that's when you squeeze over here. Yeah, I think you pull back now on the 5-minute. Even day traders don't have a lot of room to make money in this shit. Unless you're real quick with it. Volatility. Looks like we're about to get a little 30-minute turn up, maybe. 5 minutes fail all the time, so I don't have a lot of confidence in that. Oh yeah, that would make total sense, Toronto. I meant daily pullback. No, no. We have to go make new all-time highs first. That's my assessment. My assessment is new all-time. My assessment is monthly expected move, actually. I'm going to treat this market because it's being so irrational that it can go to, what, 618. Barely. Yeah, Chris is in there day trading. I'm like, yeah, you ain't making a lot of money off this unless you're part of like this last bit and it kind of like squeezes right now. So like 608, that's the only one. Like you can probably find some. You might find one next week. I think you'll find a good one next week. I think you'll see like daily expected move tagged on like a Monday or Tuesday. And then you can see if it shows up. As well with you and your family. Yeah, it's going much better. I want to say it's going much better. It is. We know that nothing is serious with my wife, but she just has to go through pain for a bit. They're trying to make it as comfortable as possible, but it's just like a weird situation right now. Like literally every morning, I'm like hoping she wakes up non-pain. Every morning I see her come down, and it's depressing. So she really does. We said it on Patreon in the Patreon chat. If you go check it out, she wanted me to come on to Patreon last night and just say thank you, because I know you guys have been shouting out to her a lot. So thank you guys for the well wishes. Yeah, it's like pain now that she's used to. So now it's just like really frustrating. But yeah, she's like almost bedridden. Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? Because like, and then you look around the house and I'm like, shit, things are going to crap because I'm doing all these things. I'm like, she's just better than me at being a homemaker. What pain does she have? It's like straight across her whole abdomen and inner right shoulder. So we were worried, like, is she gonna have a heart attack? Like, what the hell's going on? She's having like deferred pain, and they can't really tell why just yet. Well, we know a little piece of why. But it's all right. She's doing good. There's nothing to worry about, and that's a big thing. But she wanted me to say thank you to you guys. But unfortunately, this means I am tied to that 10 o'clock time for me. It might be 11 o'clock for you, it might be 9 o'clock for you, but right now is that time for me. I'm tied to this where I have to go help out every single time this week. I'm going to see if it continues for next week while she can get into her next appointment. But for today, I'll be hopping off. I might hop on again towards the end of the day, right? Patreon, be looking at that chat also. If we see something crazy, usually I like to hop in there. So I'm going to have to hop off for today, guys. Other markets are looking good as well, just so you are aware. IWM kind of showing like it wants to get to our target. Very, very nice. The target for IWM all the way up here towards 222. But you can run into problems for IWM soon, just so you are aware. I believe it is the level of 217. So watch for that 217. That's going to be this little block in here. It's kind of like that Amazon block. It's just tiny. So you look for that 217 as resistance with the availability to do what? Maybe pull back and then continue this move maybe next week at some point. That's a daily though. I'm talking like 2-hour scale. Like you just keep going, 217, 218, you pull it back. Then you keep running on that Tuesday and you go up to here and then you see something small like this. Just watch out for those kinds of signs. If IWM is going to squeeze and raise the floor, that's perfectly fine with me. Perfectly fine with me. Okay. Thank you guys for being here today. Remember to trade like water. Have a plan for both directions. We could end up in either direction with this. You want to have a plan for if it goes wrong, and you want to make sure you're updating that plan as we see further price action. As of right now, bulls have a huge edge for continuation. So still at this point, same assessment from Sunday, same thing as Monday, same thing as Tuesday. You have the potential for 30-minute pullbacks at any time. You have the potential for a 2-hour pullback at almost any time, but the 30-minute is suggesting you bought yourself a little bit of time for the 2-hour. So the most probable thing still is not happening. You are squeezing, but the most probable thing is the 30-minute is going to curl down into positive territory and then be able to curl back up. Maybe with some kind of extension here, we can show how that's going to pull back on the 2-hour later, and then we're able to see continued upside into Friday the 20th, and then we can walk ourselves up, and away into some kind of trap towards the end of June. Okay, so we'll be watching for those things. We'll be watching it with you. We'll also around this time look for lower highs and things like that. But what you know right now is the next opportunity is still the 30-minute pullback. Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Manage your plays accordingly. Pay attention to position size, especially if you're being intrigued to short when you are in this squeeze window where you could also be in the daily pullback window. It's kind of a rough spot. Some crazy things to pay attention to. So have a good one, manage risk, trade like water, and you'll be just fine. All right, guys, peace out. Have a good one. Huzzah! Is it really? Let me see real quick before I hop off. They're gonna be back with Abu in 15 minutes. Huzzah! There you go. There you go. Do your thing. 30-minute, nice rejection divergence, nice higher low, like a little retest moment here, just right back into the buyers. Look at this. This is like perfect. Like, where do you want to test to? You want to test right here. right there. And look at all those tests. Oof, 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 oof. Buyers, 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 buyers. Launch. Very nice for AVGO. See if that thing continues. 30-minute pullback at any point. You're starting to get overbought, all right? If you're in it for the long haul, hey, you're looking for that 2 hour to confirm, right? So 30-minute small retest again, just like down here can happen. Thank you, guys. Have a good one. Peace out. Hopefully Apple follows. I agree.